My name is Damian Kevitt. I am the Executive Director of Streets Are For Everyone, a road safety advocacy nonprofit, working with community members in Malibu, with the City of Malibu, with Pepperdine University, with the County of Los Angeles, and with the State of California to make PCH safer. I am also a survivor of traffic violence myself. On the 17th of October, 2023, the world found out about Dead Man's Curve, a roughly 1 mile stretch of PCH known by those who live along it for the regular traffic collisions. Note, I said traffic collisions, not accidents. These are preventable crashes and fatalities. The world found out about Dead Man's Curve because on the 17th of October, 2023, it claimed its latest victims when a driver whose name, out of disgust, I will not repeat, who was doing over 100 miles per hour when he lost control, killing 4 young women, students at Pepperdine. I invite all of you and all of you here to repeat their names after me. Neve Ralston. Peyton Stewart. Asha Weir. Deslin Williams. Thank you. The community of Malibu, the entirety of Pepperdine, and many others around the world grieved. And as a collective, we all said, enough is enough. But the truth is, while we have said their 4 names, this stretch of PCH going through the community of Malibu has been known as a high-speed, deadly stretch of road for decades. Neve, Peyton, Asha, Deslin were the 55th, 56th, 57th, and 58th lives taken in just the last 10 years along this stretch of PCH. That doesn't include the many more before them that also lost their lives on this stretch of road. And since the 17th of October, there have been 5 more, and we are now up to 63 lives lost through the general community of Malibu along PCH. While we will not be saying all of their names, some of them are on the ghost tires behind me, drawn on there by the fathers, by the wives, and the family members of those who lost them. Their lives were lost. To some degree, they were lost and they were considered acceptable. Just part of doing business along PCH. Somehow on the 17th of October, we crossed that invisible threshold when the loss of these 4 young women, and we are all here to say that enough is enough. And none of us are content with allowing PCH to continue to be the deadly stretch of road that it is. We are here to say that we have all lost sleep over making PCH safer, and we will not rest till it is safe. So people no longer die here just because they are walking or cycling or driving along PCH, because none of the traffic violence along PCH are accidents. They are and were, each of them, preventable. So over the next 20 minutes or so, you will hear from all levels of government and activists about what we have accomplished so far and what will be happening immediately and in the near future to make sure that we fix PCH for everyone who uses it. With that said, I would like to invite Senator Ben Allen to come to the podium.
Good evening, everyone. Senator Ben Allen, proudly represent West Side, Santa Monica Mountains, Malibu communities. And I just want to thank the organizers, first of all the folks from the city of Malibu, Damian, CHP, just pulled someone over. They didn't used to be here until this happened. Sheriff's Department, of course, and Captain C2, and all the folks from the sheriffs, Caltrans, Irwin, David, all the attendees. Thank you for your attention to this issue. Thank you for continuing the focus on this issue. If it weren't, I want to thank the press too, quite frankly, because if it weren't for the press's continual interest, I don't know that we would have gotten this across the finish line. Your focus, your attention, your being there made a difference in our being able to tell this story up in Sacramento. We all remember that terrible day last year, and it just brought back echoes for me from back when I was on the school board, and we found out about Emily Shane getting mowed down on the PCH just up a little further down the road. And I remember the tragedy that was for our Malibu high school community and our entire Malibu student community. And it's an honor to stand here with Michelle, who's been such a dogged advocate on this important issue for so long. He's put his talent into advocating and highlighting the dangers of this stretch of road. So this has been a very somber week, I think, for all of us. A week of reflection, a week of remembrance. I know there were so many students were here, folks who remembered those, who knew those 4 young women so well. Some of the parents came. And I think these moments of reflection remind me of the gravity of the work that we do in Sacramento. Sometimes it feels too political, too many games, but this was an opportunity for us to step up and actually help save lives and make our community better and safer. And it was done in partnership with our local communities. I see so many of you that were up there with us in Sacramento every time we were before a hearing, pushing back, telling the story, ensuring that our colleagues were able to see faces behind this tragedy. So it was an effort, a real effort. It was much harder than it needed to be. It was amazing how many people pushed back, but ultimately we got SB 1297 done with support from all of the partners here. Assemblymember Jackie Irwin, who was a great partner in this effort, Senator Henry Stern as well, of course. And there was just one purpose to this bill. It was to get people to just slow down, to drive more safely on this beautiful but deadly stretch of highway. And as I say, it wasn't easy sailing, but I just want to express my appreciation for everyone who was there as part of this effort, who ultimately saw what we were trying to do, get people to take their foot off the gas pedal, get people to drive a little bit more safely. And ultimately, we got this bill across the finish line. This bill is going to create a speed camera program that's going to be up along the most deadly stretch of road. We will have 5 cameras along the roadway. There will be lots of signage. It's funny, we've talked about this. This was something that was asked of us by some of the opponents of the bill. You got to put up more signage. I said, great, let's put up more signage. Because from my perspective, it's not about giving out tickets. It's about people to slow down. And the more they are given warning that if they continue to speed that they will be in trouble, the better, because it'll make their driving habits a little safer. So thank you for standing with us. Thank you to all the organizations who played such an important role in getting this done. Thank you to the families and the friends of the young women who came and spoke before the hearing, before our committee panels. It was amazing how much you turned people around. This bill almost died several times. Several times. We had such opposition from a couple key people. And having you sit before the legislators and tell your stories, look you in the eye and hear directly from you how much this had broken your lives, how much this had impacted this broader community, how much you cared about your friends, how preventable this was. They weren't able to look you in the eye and see your humanity and turn you down. And that's why we got this bill across the finish line as well. So I'm proud to be here. I'm excited to announce, along with Assemblymember Irwin, she's going to speak about some of the important infrastructural investments that are going to be happening here on the highway. I'm so glad we finally have CHP here working in conjunction with our friends from the sheriffs. They're now working together to ensure safety. I'm so happy that we're finally getting light synchronization along the highway so that we can actually have some coherence to the way the lights work to get people to slow down. Nobody can speed all the way through Beverly Hills, even if they wanted to on Santa Monica Boulevard. It's about time we create light synchronization here to make sure they can't speed here. So thank you. Let's make sure that this terrible tragedy, that the lives of these 4 young women the deaths of these 4 young women have some meaning out of tragedy. That we turn something, that we take this moment to save lives and honor their legacy by continuing to do everything we can to make this stretch of road safer. Thank you, everybody, and thank you for all your work.
Thank you. Assemblymember Jackie Irwin.
Well, thank you. I want to echo the thanks that Senator Allen just mentioned. This has truly been a community effort. As we gather here this evening to honor the memories of now 63 people who have lost their lives on this 21-mile stretch of PCH in Malibu, we also are reflecting on the progress that's being made to ensure that the carnage becomes a thing of the past. I have come to learn that traffic safety is most commonly addressed through what we know as the 3 E's: engineering, enforcement, and education. The issues centering around public safety on PCH are not new. What is new are the 3 people elected to represent you. Through redistricting, both Senator Allen and I took over representation of Malibu at the state level, and at the county level, Lindsay Horvath was elected as your new county supervisor. After the tragic events of 1 year ago, we individually and collectively pledged to do whatever was possible to see to it that real change was made. I'm happy to say that as a result of a joint letter sent to Caltrans by Senator Allen and myself, a Caltrans director's order was issued that called for over $4 million in safety improvement to the stretch of PCH from McClure Tunnel to the Ventura County line. The California Secretary of Transportation traveled to Malibu on multiple occasions and pledged his 100% support to address the safety issue, and declared that that 21-mile stretch of road was the most dangerous in California and their number one priority. To address the engineering issues, Caltrans has been working expeditiously to implement additional safety measures outlined in the order and has completed most of the improvements to this point. The remaining speed feedback indicators will be installed shortly, and speed cameras authorized by SB 1297 and outlined by Senator Allen will also be added. I'm certain that Caltrans will talk about the ongoing master plan project being undertaken currently that could include significant roadway engineering changes. On the enforcement front, as Senator Allen mentioned, the California Highway Patrol has returned to Malibu, and the results are showing. Together with the Lost Hills Sheriff's traffic enforcement efforts, the tide is starting to turn. I'll let those entities speak of their individual efforts. In terms of education, the City of Malibu, along with Pepperdine University, the Emily Shane Foundation, Streets Are for Everyone, and a host of other organizations and individuals have embarked on a campaign to make local residents, commuters, and visitors alike more aware of the safety issues and speed cameras on PCH. At the end of the day, safety is everyone's responsibility, and we all need to ensure that we are following the rules of the road and paying attention when driving. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Assemblymember. Mayor Doug Stewart.
I want people to know that when you follow behind Senator Allen and you follow behind Assemblymember Irwin, a lot of the things you were going to say get taken care of. So I'll try not to be too repetitive, but I want to make one point that nobody's mentioned. The accidents happen on PCH on a regular basis, and they're not accidents. These are tragedies. We had a fatality just at the city limits over the weekend with serious injuries to everybody involved. There was another traffic accident just up the street about 3 miles away last night. 4 people were injured and had to be airlifted out. This is a dangerous highway, and the city of Malibu, its residents, yes, this is our town, and we're responsible for the people that come through it to visit us or to live here. We take this seriously, and we've done everything we know how to do to make sure that Malibu is as safe as it can be, whether it's our beaches, our highway, or our trails in the mountains. And I just want to say one thing. When the tragedy happened a year ago, 366 days ago, we got phone calls from everyone from our local communities, from residents, from the Sheriff's Department, from the elected officials we have here, Supervisor Horvath, and they all said, what can we do? And what do you need? and we said, we need help. And you know what? They all showed up. They came here in droves and they said, we're going to be helpful to you all the way through the process. And we can't thank them enough for it. I have to tell you, a round of applause and thank you for everybody here. So let me start off by saying, good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate the press coverage. You have made our message go out to the people who drive on our highway. 40 to 50,000 people a day go down PCH. It is no small feat to go the 21 miles and not see a highway patrolman or a sheriff's officer today, thanks to the media exposure we have and the emphasis that's been made on safety. But we got to remember four vibrant women who are no longer with us. And we mentioned them before. Niam Ralston, Peyton Stewart, Asha Weir, and Deslin Williams. It was a senseless tragedy on Pacific Coast Highway a year ago, and our hearts go out to their families, their friends, and the entire Pepperdine University community. Last night we gathered here for a candlelight vigil to honor their memory. It was a moment of reflection, a moment of grief, and of solidarity. We came together not only to remember the 4 students, but all those who have lost their lives on this highway, and to reaffirm our commitment to make sure their loss is not in vain. The lights from our candles reminded us of the bright futures they had ahead and our responsibility to keep their memory alive through meaningful action. Today we stand together, shoulder to shoulder with our partners at the state, the county, and the local levels to address the safety challenges on PCH and to continue the important work of making our roads safer for everyone. In the past year, we've taken significant steps forward, thanks to Senator Allen, Assemblymember Irwin, who authored and co-authored Senate Bill 1297. We now have the legal framework in place to install speed safety cameras at some of the most dangerous sections of Pacific Coast Highway. These cameras are a vital tool in reducing speeding and preventing more tragedies like the one we had last October. We've already started the process to issue a request for proposals to develop a speed safety system use policy and impact report, with proposals due on November the 1st. Our Public Works Department and traffic engineers have identified 5 locations for speed cameras along PCH. They'll be installed at Decker Canyon, between Guernsey and Morning View, Latigo Canyon, between Carbon Beach Terrace and Carbon Canyon, and Tuna Canyon. We are moving swiftly with purpose and providing an aggressive implementation plan that includes milestones, and we aim to have these cameras fully operational by November 2025. But we are committed to doing this correctly and ensuring that all regulatory processes are followed as outlined in the bill. In addition to the speed camera system, we've made substantial infrastructure improvements and investments in public safety in our past year. Among these efforts, we have purchased 6 LiDAR speed guns to assist the Sheriff's Department and Highway Patrol with increased enforcement on PCH. We've completed PCH median improvements between John Tyler Drive and Puerco Canyon Road. PCH traffic synchronization that was mentioned project is underway. Fiber optic lines are being installed from Topanga Canyon to John Tyler at Pepperdine. The contractor is working on the new traffic signal controller cabinets, and this project remains on track and will be completed by this year end. Additionally, we've enhanced safety features in this project. The pedestrian signal at La Costa will be upgraded to a full pedestrian signal. The eastbound left turn lane at PCH and John Tyler Drive will be modified to a protected left turn lane, and a new adaptive traffic signal timing system will be implemented to address signals based upon excessive speeding. Intersection improvements at Trancas Canyon Road also progressing, with final design completion anticipated by the end of this year. And looking ahead, we're actively working on additional safety projects. A pedestrian undercrossing at Malibu Seafood is currently in design and awaiting funding confirmation. And we have crosswalk improvements at Big Rock Drive, PCH Lost Forest Canyon and Ramble Pacifica, and PCH median improvements at Paradise Cove and Zuma Beach. Additionally, through the Malibu CHP Task Force and our close collaboration with the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, we've seen a 36% decrease in traffic injury accidents so far this year. This tells us that something is working, and it's critical, and that is enforcement works. And we continue to step up enforcement and protect every life on the street. We're also grateful to Caltrans for their commitment to this effort, including the $4.1 million in short-term infrastructure improvements that have already been funded to address immediate safety concerns. But even more important, the strategic master planning for the redesign of the entire PCH corridor. This plan reimagines PCH from the 4-lane highway it is today into what it should be, Malibu's Main Street, a place where everyone can move safely. We're also pleased to announce that the City of Malibu has secured a $460,000 grant from the Office of Traffic Safety. This grant will fund critical enforcement operations, including 4 DUI checkpoints and 8 saturation patrols that target DUI and general traffic violations. The funding will also support our Malibu Surf, Sand, and Slow educational campaign, which is designed to promote long-term changes in driver behavior and improve safety for all roadway users. These initiatives are key components in our ongoing commitment to reducing traffic hazards and ensuring safety on PCH. I'd like to take a moment to thank Supervisor Lindsay Horvath for her passionate advocacy and her dedication to the cause. Supervisor Horvath has been a tremendous partner, standing with us through every step of this journey. And as I mentioned, one of the first phone calls we got was from Supervisor Horvath. But as much progress as we made, we all know we still have more work to do, and we owe it to the families of Nyath, Peyton, Asha, and Desmond. And we owe it to this community. We owe it to every person who travels on our highway. The road is long, and we're making strides. We will continue to take a multi-pronged approach, focusing on enforcement, education, and infrastructure improvements to ensure PCH becomes a safer road for everybody. In closing, on behalf of the City of Malibu, I want to thank all of our partners, Senator Allen, Assemblymember Irwin, Supervisor Horvath, the California Highway Patrol, Los Angeles County Sheriff, Caltrans, and the Office of Traffic Safety for their support, as well as the entire Malibu community for your patience, advocacy, and commitment to making our city safer. We will continue to advocate for safer roads. We'll continue to honor the memory of those that we have lost. And we are not going to stop until Pacific Coast Highway is safe for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. For members of the media, there is a table behind you, in case you weren't taking notes on all of that, that also details a lot of those improvements. So please go to that table after this and grab some of that information so that you've got all of those notes. With that, I'd like to welcome Captain Jared Perry with California Highway Patrol.
Good evening. I'm Captain Jared Perry, the commander of the California Highway Patrol West Valley area. I am honored to be here today with transportation industry leaders, Los Angeles County officials, City of Malibu officials, our elected officials, Caltrans, and of course our LASD partners to bring awareness to traffic safety on Pacific Coast Highway. October 17th, 2023 was a very tragic day that all of us here remember vividly. Those 4 young women have been in the forefront of our minds this whole last year as we have all worked collaboratively to make PCH a safer place to travel. I would like to extend my personal condolences to all those families and friends affected by this horrible incident. In January 2024, the CHP began working with the City of Malibu and the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department to enhance traffic safety on PCH. As a point of clarification, the Sheriff's Department is the lead law enforcement agency for both traffic and general law enforcement in the City of Malibu. The CHP West Valley area established the Malibu Task Force consisting of 3 officers and a sergeant to enforce traffic violations on PCH within the city limits of Malibu. To date, our efforts with CHP alone have resulted in over 3,000 traffic citations issued, and that's since January. Almost 2,400 of those citations were for speeding. The rest of the citations issued were for distracted driving, unsafe turns and lane changes, seatbelt and equipment violations. We've also made numerous arrests for DUI. I just want to remind and mention to the motoring public to take note, the CHP is out here along with our LASD partners on PCH aggressively enforcing all traffic laws. Also of note, Caltrans has several construction zones on PCH. I ask that you please use caution and obey the speed limit through these areas as they are double fine zones. But more important than that, we also want our highway workers to be safe so they can go home to their families too. The CHP and the agencies you see before you cannot do this alone. We need the public support, cooperation, and commitment to this cause. I challenge everyone to take personal responsibility for their actions on the road to prevent injuries and deaths. One of the world's most beautiful roadways is right here in our backyard. Slow down and take in the sights. Go home to your loved ones safely. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. And next, Captain Jennifer Situ.
Before I get started, I want to invite my partners, my Fix PCH community group, to come up with me. Kylie, I know you're here too. Just without these dear community members, the Ghost Tires wouldn't be here, and just really the passion to push for change. So really, partners, thank you. Thank you so much. Today, we stand together. Our hearts are heavy with the weight of loss. 1 year ago, 4 precious lives were taken from us far too soon. Neve, Peyton, Asha, and Deslin. Their memories are etched in our souls. As your captain, I look out your faces, and I'm fueled by a burning resolve. We will make PCH safe. For the sake of our children, for the sake of the community, and for the sake of the millions of visitors we have each year. From day one, I've talked about a plan that involved the 3 E's as our path for change. Those were engineering, education, and enforcement. We've made progress, more patrols, Caltrans improvement, growing awareness of the dangers of PCH. But progress is not success. This year, we've added 5 more additional Ghost Tires. That's 5 loss, or 5 people's families that were shattered. It's a stark reminder that the 3 E's are just the beginning. In a push for the 3 E's, we overlooked one critical E: engagement. Engagement with our community. Change remains an empty promise without our community engagement. It wasn't until we engaged our community partners, until we listened to their voices, that real momentum took hold. The Fix PCH leaders that stand with me here, the Pepperdine families, our law enforcement, Caltrans, our elected officials, your dedication is the backbone of our progress. We've made strides, but we have yet to succeed. I call on each of you to recommit to the 3 E's, to double down on our efforts. Enforcement must be relentless, and we're thankful for our CHP partners as well. Education must be pervasive. Engineering must be innovative. Anything less is a sellout to the memories of Neve, Peyton, Asha, Deslin, and all the other ones that were killed on PCH. As we may move forward, let us look at ourselves. What kind of community do we want to be? One that accepts tragedy, or one that rises up against it? One that just talks of change, or one that demands it? The answer is clear. We are a community that fights. We are a community that unites, and we are a community that will not rest until PCH is safe. Let us honor the fallen by recommitting to the fight and uniting together. Let us prove to ourselves, our children, our future generations, that we will not be swayed. We will not be deterred. The 3 E's are a roadmap, but engagement is our engine. And together we will drive the change this community and its visitors deserve. This is my vow to you. that together with my Fix PCH community team, we will fight on, we will not forget, and we will not stop until PCH is safe. And let me just have my dear friend Michelle Shane say a couple words.
Captain C2, thank you for your unwavering dedication to our community and our safety. Your leadership inspires us to strive for a better future. Fix PCH is more than a slogan. It's a call to action, a promise that we, the people, will no longer stand idly by while lives are lost by senseless traffic violence. 1 year ago, we gathered as strangers, united by grief and determination. We were mothers and fathers, students and teachers from all walks of life, refusing to let tragedy define our destiny. We vowed to create a new narrative, one written in the ink of change, not the blood of loved ones. This memorial stands as a testament to our victims and the symbol of our unyielding commitment to justice. Our mission is clear: safety. We will not be swayed by excuses or deterred by challenges. By the time for change is overdue. We will not let this moment slip away. Education is our most powerful weapon. Let us arm our youth with the knowledge that speed kills, that recklessness has devastating consequences. Let us shape a future where speeding is unthinkable as drinking and driving or lighting up a cigarette. We stand here today on the anniversary of the Pepperdine tragedy as a community forged in loss but fueled by resolve. To the families who have suffered, we say, your pain will not be in vain. To our leaders, we demand to turn our collective grief into action. We will not rest until PCH is a road where life is cherished, not cautiously destroyed. This is our promise. This is our pledge. Our lives, for the lives lost and the futures cut short, we will fight until safety is more than a word. It is the reality on our roads. It's time for change is now. Let's seize it together.
Well said. Well done. Well done, Michelle.
Thank you, Captain C2. Thank you, Michelle, Shane. We have two more speakers. The last one is going to be Dave Ralston, representing the families who lost their loved ones. So with that, next I'd like to invite Mr. Lee Haber, Chief Safety Officer, Caltrans District 7.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lee Haber, Caltrans District 7's Chief Safety Officer. I'm humbled to be here tonight as we remember the 4 students and the countless others who've lost their lives along this corridor. One life lost is too many. Caltrans is working collaboratively with local and state agencies, officials, and allied law enforcement partners to improve safety on PCH. These are the cities of Malibu, Los Angeles, and Santa Monica, CHP, and LA Sheriff, California Office of Traffic Safety, California State Parks, Los Angeles County Department of Harbors and Beaches, and Pepperdine University. A thank you to the Public Safety Commission members for their input and collaboration as we make these safety improvements. Caltrans is investing $4.2 million for more than 24 engineering solutions, upgrades including optical speed bars, which are stripes at progressively decreasing intervals to make drivers aware of their speed. We also installed radar speed feedback signs and enhanced striping to warn drivers of curves and speed limit markings on the pavement, as well as crosswalk upgrades. Caltrans is also slated to begin a project this fall to upgrade an existing crosswalk and flashing yellow beacons on mast arms to a full pedestrian signal at PCH just north of Carbon Canyon in the Malibu Pier area. This project was initiated from the 2015 Malibu PCH safety study. The safety of people on PCH is a top priority to the community, Caltrans and the Office of Traffic Safety, the California State Transportation Agency, and the Governor's Office. Since the start of the project to enhance safety on PCH, Caltrans has installed over 318,000 linear feet of striping and nearly 6,000 pavement markers. Over 31,000 square feet of highly visible preformed markings for 41 crosswalks and on-pavement speed limit markings. 14,000 linear feet of traffic lane separator devices, and currently 10 temporary radar speed feedback signs with 8 permanent radar speed feedback signs to be installed. Caltrans conducted 3 road safety audits and will implement additional safety improvements based upon the audit's findings. We're working with the community to develop a master plan for PCH. Please join us at the next community meeting here on October 23rd, Malibu City Hall. Between July and October, there will have been 3 in-person meetings and 3 virtual meetings. We want the community's input. The safety of every user of this road, visitors, residents, law enforcement, maintenance workers, bicyclists, pedestrians, and you, is paramount. It's the number one goal of Caltrans. Tomorrow, Saturday, October 19th, is National Move Over Day. This day reminds us to slow down and move over when you see highway workers and first responders. Please join us in observing this tomorrow and every day. With everyone's attention to safe and responsible driving, we can achieve the goal of 0 deaths by 2050. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Lee. Again, I want to remind all of the media that there are documents that are detailing all of these improvements on the table behind you, so please grab those. I also want to make it known before I invite the final speaker up here that the mayor of Malibu pledged that by November 2025, speed cameras would be live on PCH. November 2025, that's the date. I would like to make sure it's known that is going to be faster than the city of Los Angeles and faster than most of the other 6 cities that were approved a year ago. So we're not joking around here. We are meaning business. That said, I am incredibly grateful that we have Dave Ralston, father of Neve Ralston, here to speak on behalf of all of the families who lost their daughters on the 17th of October.
I hope you bear with me today. I want to share a few things about the 4 young women who were killed not far from here on Tuesday evening around 8 p.m. a year ago, yesterday. And in doing so, I will be borrowing from the words and statements of some of their closest friends, and many of whom were already quoted in the Pepperdine Graphic, their fine paper. Their friendship was forged through their membership in the sorority Alpha Phi or Alpha Phi, they call it A-Phi. Peyton Stewart was born in New Jersey and grew up in New Jersey and New York. Peyton informed her family as a freshman in high school that she planned to attend Pepperdine. I think that says a lot about the type of young woman that she was, that she knew with certainty the university she wanted to attend at the age of 15. In the sorority, they have a system by which new members will be assigned a big sister who helps guide and support them, and Peyton was the big sister to a number of young women. And one of those women, Kelly Peterson, said of Peyton, "Whenever I would ask for a favor and thanked her, she would always say, 'That's what I'm here for.'" Peyton worked at the Pepperdine Career Center, where she would help students work on resumes, coach them in how to interview for internships and jobs. She spent a year studying in London, and while there she met Zach Tapp, who said of her, "She is the only reason that I took applying for internships seriously," Tapp said. She helped me with my resume, with my cover letter, and she was like, "Zach, you got to do this, and you got to do this." And she was the most determined person I've ever known. Her coworker and friend Tanya Yurian said of her, "She loved helping students with resumes and helping them find jobs. She loved being there for others." Asha Weir was born in Northern Ireland. She grew up in Skippack, Pennsylvania. She was an English major. She was very artistic and philosophical and bright young woman who practiced photography and composed poetry, and she shared this with her friends often. She loved to go to Point Dume and take her friends there. It was her favorite place in Malibu, and she loved to learn new things and took ceramic classes locally. And at Pepperdine, she met upper-class person Iberia Brizza, who said of her, "Everyone says that they're the kind of friend that would drop anything for their friends, but she actually did." At her time in Malibu, she worked for the Malibu Chamber of Commerce and for resident Chris Weisner's company, and Chris at times employed Asha as a sitter for his own children. And he said of her, "If you want your daughter to be around any other girl, that's the girl you want to have influence. Them. Asha was someone you wanted your daughters to look up to." Asha sent her friend Brissa a text, and I think it says a lot about the type of girl that she was. This is her words. She wrote, "I've always thought people are the whole point of life. We're meant to love and be loved and share this experience with people, and the ones we choose to do that with will live eternally in our hearts. I think that's so beautiful, and I just believe that's what life, at least mine, is about." Deslyn Williams was born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. Friend Dylan Storman said of her, "She was everyone's hype woman in everything that they did, whether it be taking photos for you or talking to you before a test. She never failed to hype you up and get you excited and make you feel confident." Deslyn was an honor student, bright and highly capable, who planned to continue her education and follow in the footsteps of her father, Desmond, who is a doctor who works for the CDC. There's little doubt that Deslyn would have achieved her goal of becoming a veterinarian. Her sorority sister, Georgia Puckett, recalled that the first time I met Deslyn, she picked me up right outside my freshman dorm in her little Honda with the Georgia state license plate. Deslyn was wearing a cheetah tank top and had a contagious energy about her that immediately put me at ease. We shared a passion for animals, especially horses. She always wanted to be a vet, and spending time on a horseback ride with her in the canyon is one of the most special moments of our friendship. In her time at Pepperdine, she worked at the Malibu Farm Pier Cafe and established friendships with coworkers there who recalled her visiting them even after she had begun her postgraduate preparations. Tasha Conger said of her, "Deslyn was super bubbly, so happy to be anywhere and talking to anyone. She had the craziest laugh, and I wish she could remember or replicate that because it was so funny and unique." She was at one point the president of member recruitment for AFI, and she invested herself, like she did in many things, fully into that role. It was said of her, "We collaborated on themes, outfits, and every minute detail, transforming recruitment nights into unforgettable experiences." And Storman would say, "Deslyn was definitely my inspiration for the way that she cared and how passionate she was about AFI and her sisters." The year that Deslyn was a freshman was the year that Pepperdine, as was the case with most of the state, closed due to the pandemic. And so they had classes virtually. Her friend and eventual roommate, Samantha First, recalled that after an online class, Deslyn reached out to her through Instagram and said, "Hey girl, I'm in your English 101 class. Classes are always so much easier with friends." My daughter, Neve Ralston, was born and raised here in Los Angeles, and this was her home. Neve had many close friends throughout the years. A few came to remember her last night at Pepperdine. She changed me greatly, and I could speak at length about her as any proud father might, but rather I was reminded of the many friends she made over the years. She was loyal, and she was someone who listened without judgment and was remembered by many for the time she would engage with them and when they were experiencing difficulties in their life. She was happy just to be with them in their time of need, to walk together on a hike into these canyons that she loved, or down to the beach without feeling the need to say much and simply to lend an ear and be a shoulder to cry on. For many years, she trained and competed as a gymnast, and this forged in her a resilience and an inner strength and courageousness that she retained when she retired. She had come to understand something about the value of persistence and hard work and sacrifice. I have memories of the many, many hours she spent year-round in the gym with teammates, engaged in some of the most grueling conditioning and strengthening exercises I have ever witnessed in my life, and she and her teammates did this with a smile and laughter through the pain, and only to return the day following for more of the same. I have one last short story I'd like to share with you about one of the last times I drove her to Pepperdine. Sorry. She had a part-time job in retail, and so during many of the holidays, she would work because they used her to fill in for people that were otherwise taking a vacation. And so after one of these breaks, I had the opportunity to drive her back here to Pepperdine. And as I brought her here, it was around lunchtime, and I suggested that we might get some food, and I asked her to take me to one of the restaurants in Malibu that she liked to eat at. And there was a small waiting line for the tables at the restaurant. And when we got there, the hostess saw us, and she came over, and immediately she said, "Neve." And they looked at each other, and then they hugged, and they spoke briefly. And then, a minute later, I sort of stood behind them, and a minute later, we were shown to a table. And so after a few minutes, I said, "So, is that one of your friends from Pepperdine?" And she said, "No." I said, "Okay." And I said, sometime later, I said, "Well, how do you know her?" And she said, "Oh, I just met her here." And that was very much the way Neve was, in that she met this young woman who worked at the restaurant, and she had taken upon herself to speak to her and to get to know her on a personal level and invite a friendship to form. In the period after our daughters were killed, my wife and I came to meet a number of people, including Damien Kevitt, the members of SAFE, the mayor pro tem, the members of the Malibu City Council, and together they made this tire memorial behind us a reality. And at first I wasn't really sure what the placement of these tires might mean for the community of Malibu. And I look at it now, I see something very different than I first did. For each of these tires, there was a person who died before their time in 14 years since Emily Shane was killed in 2010. Each of these people had parents and grandparents and brothers and sisters and uncles and aunts and roommates and teammates and coaches and professors and co-workers and best friends, and people who were touched by them. In some cases, the threads of these relationships number from the hundreds to the many hundreds, and in some cases beyond that in number. And so now when I see these tires, I see this interconnectedness and community and the sorrow and the loss that extends throughout the city of Malibu and Pepperdine University in California and across the country, and in fact, across the entire world now. And the thing that links this tragic loss is, unfortunately, Pacific Coast Highway. I've come to find that having to grieve the death of my child, a fellowship with others who have had to endure the same tragedy, and the only people who can truly understand me are people who have gone through the same. We were no longer the people we were on October 17th, 2023. The people we were on that day, those people died with our child. We are different people now, and it's truly not something I would wish to happen to any person. And it does afford me, however, a degree of clarity in regards to some things that might not have been as clear to me previously. In speaking to you today, I hope to briefly communicate, and I know I've gone on quite long here, and I apologize, but I hope to communicate what has been lost. These young women are lost to the world now. Their potential to continue, as was their custom and way of life, to make the world a better place and a more joyous place has been taken from us. What I came to learn about Emily Shane, about Peyton and Asha and Deslin and Neve, is that each in their own way they cherished and loved your community and considered it a home or a home away from home. In a way that they lived their lives here and conducted themselves and interacted with those that came in contact with. They communicated this with their bright smiles and the way they treated everyone from the closest of friends to complete strangers. They chose Pepperdine as the place they wanted to earn a degree with the expectation that this would be a place they would return to throughout their lives. And it reflects their love for Pepperdine and Malibu and the people they met here. So I can say with some confidence that what they would want for you, the residents of Malibu, is an appropriate roadway through your community that reflects what Malibu is. It's a place that's known throughout the country and the world for its beauty, for its shoreline, its canyons and beaches, its access to the magnificent Pacific Ocean, but it's also your home. It's your home. PCH is just a road. It is a design and features, in some cases lack of features. It belongs to you, and regardless of what the current legal status and laws that govern PCH, you deserve nothing less than to own and control the road through your city. We support and join with those of you that wish it to be safe and to appropriately reflect its purpose as a way for you and the millions of people who visit the community to come and go and pass through in a manner that reflects that Malibu is your home and the place you live and work and raise your children. You deserve to live your lives without the fear of any of your family members that they might die on the side of this road. And for those that have joined with you to make this shared goal to no longer accept the status quo or to accept another death on PCH in Malibu, no longer be told that there's things that can't be done in your city. I know that our daughters would want you to continue to demand change and accept nothing less. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Sorry. It's hard not to get emotional on listening to that. That said, that is our last speaker. Before I open it up for questions, I have one last thing to go over, and I'd like to invite members of Fix PCH, Michelle, all of Fix PCH, Captain C2 as well. As all of you know, the Ghost Tire Memorial was put up as a symbol, as a remembrance of all of those lives lost, not just the 4 girls on the 17th of October. And it is a temporary art installation. And while there is discussion, nothing official, about maybe doing something more permanent, we want to do something that is a permanent memorial, a permanent remembrance of the 4 girls whose lives were lost. And along with the Emily Shane Foundation, along with Fix PCH, and thanks to the support of the City of Malibu, we have made an agreement. We have started basically the first of its kind, a memorial bench program that will be placed on Point Dune, the very first benches, specifically in memory of the 4 girls whose lives were lost. We are starting a GoFundMe that was just started today to raise the funds for those 4 benches that will be placed on Point Dune sometime, hopefully in the near future, once we are able to raise the funds for that. And that is part of our engagement to make sure that their memories are never lost, and that we will forever make sure that PCH is fixed and kept safe. So please, media, I believe all of you got an information sheet about this. Please spread that, because we want to remember from here on the lives of those 4 girls, along with all of the lives that have been lost along PCH. With that, I am going to open this up to questions and field it to whoever is appropriate.